Hey guys, welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. My name is Dueling Central, aka D3, aka whoever you want me to be. That was cringy, I know, but in all seriousness, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the card trader inventory update. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe if you're new, and I wanted to go over this because this is something that went largely unnoticed, and for the most part, for older players, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not really something you too much would care about. A lot of these cards are outdated or not very good, but sometime next month, we'll actually find out right now, there will be December 7th. Actually, that's actually the day after my birthday. Turned 24. So anyways, on December 7th, they will be removing all of these cards from the card trader lineup. So what that typically means is whenever they remove cards, basically what happens is they come back as EX jewels on events every now and again or things like that. So keep that in mind, but I wanted to go over this and see if there's any cards you guys should consider picking up as far as the card trader goes. So again, we're going to talk about that here. I am using the Steam version. That's why it looks a little bit different. So let me know if you guys enjoy this. I actually personally prefer the Steam Duel Links version that just came out as opposed to the mobile one. It's a lot easier to manage. It's easier to build decks with and stuff like that. So I may use it a bit. Anyways, we're going to talk about the card trader. So as you see, they're removing a couple of URs, a bunch of SRs, and a bunch of Rs, mainly Rs and Ns. A lot of that stuff, again, is not very necessary. But the thing about the card trader is that it was very niche. A lot of what it has is for building a lot of niche decks, like for example, Blue Dragon Summoners, things like that in the card trader that you could put into like little just trolly meme decks, or maybe a deck that you build like starting out and then you further on and build better decks later on in your lifespan with the game. So going over the URs, we're not going to go over most of the ends and stuff. I'm just going to go over like the big hitter cards. So Twin Barrel Dragon, when this card is summoned, target one card your opponent controls, toss a coin twice. Toss a coin twice. Oh, so 2 coins. Yeah, like what are you talking about? And if the result is heads, 2 heads actually, destroy it. So again, play this card, 1700 monster, 4 stars, and it can destroy any card on the field if you get 2 heads. So very unlikely to get 2 heads, but of course you can kind of cheese that with like second coin toss and stuff like that, if you even have that card as an availability. But still, Twin Barrel Dragon used to be one of those cards that was very, very good in this deck. A lot of decks ran 2 to 3 of them. It's still not a bad card, but what happens is nowadays these 4 stars are just really good, and the game has gotten to a point where you can kind of pop out a lot of higher power monsters within a turn or 2 turns. Like Red Eyes is really good at that. Ninjas is really good at that. Cyber Angels, of course, are really good at that. So that kind of is where this game has gone. So it's moved away from weaker monsters like this, especially with the fact that the boxes, the main summonable boxes or the card boxes, have implemented 4 stars that are simply stronger than this. For example, latest box has Force Raider, and it's like, we look at some of the older cards like Dunami's Dark Witch, who used to be in like so many decks. She's not really viable anymore because 1800 just isn't enough for a lot of these 4-star monsters to sustain with. Of course, the new stuff like, you know, Wall of Disruption and all that stuff floating around. So do I recommend picking this card up? So for the people that don't have an abundance of UR gems, like, you know, 20 plus or something like that, maybe 15 plus, I wouldn't say pick it up. I don't know exactly how many this is. It could be 1 to 3. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't recommend picking it up because, again, all this stuff should come back, or most of the stuff should come, some of this stuff should come back in EX jewels and events, and that makes it a little bit easier if you pick up the EX jewels from grinding events and you get them from the card trader that way. But overall, if you need like a card to throw into a deck, this isn't a bad choice. It can catch a lot of people off guard. Machine decks will get better in this game. They will continue to get better. There's a lot of machine monsters that are very, very good that'll be added into the game, but Twin Barrel Dragon just kind of feels like he's not really worth the deck slot at this point for a lot of decks that I would consider running. But if you do want to pick up a playset, if you do have the abundance of gems, I would go for it. I have 2 of them. I'm going to pick up 1 more. And you never know, man. Maybe he comes back into like a lot of relevance. There are a lot of cards in the actual TCG that would lend credence to being able to use this card and a lot of other cards that are on this list. So again, should you pick it up? If you have the gems, yes. If you don't, I'd wait, because they're going to add better URs into the game at this point in the card trader. So anyways, Guardian Angel Jones. So same thing applies to her as the Twin Barrel Dragon. Should you pick it up? Yeah, it's a cool card if you plan to run Fairy archetype. You can also run it, I guess, in like Cyber Angels, but nobody will actually do that. The thing about Cyber Angels is that they didn't really, I don't want to say they got nerfed. It just became harder to use that deck because they took away 2 potential ritual spells from them. Well, no, never mind. She's level 7, so never mind. You'd want her to be level 8. But anyways, they took away two potential ritual spells from them, and the ritual spells that they took away are the ones that allow you to pop them out without having to have exact matching stars or levels of monsters. So with Absolute Ritual, which is the main ritual you run in that deck now, you have to make sure you match up the stars equivalently to the different monsters you want to play. So a level 6 and a level 2, or a level 8 if you're trying to pop out a Dakini, or a level 6 if you're trying to pop out Editen or Ben 10, so things like that. So they kind of just nerfed them that way. But again, if you want to build a fairy deck, just a traditional fairy deck, it's not going to be very competitive. You would want to pick up one Joan. Air Knight Parshoth is not going anywhere, but you want to pick up a couple of him too. So she's really good though for the replenishing effect. As you see, when this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, gain life points equal to the original attack of that destroyed monster in the graveyard. So Konami has continually tried to make fairies a bigger deal in this game. Like, there's been a couple of times that they literally buffed Ishizu as a character because her skills were not getting used, her character wasn't getting used. So again, you never know if this card becomes a really good prominent card in this game. It was part of like the core 3-star demotion decks. Whenever 3-star demotion became a thing, this was part of that deck, like 2 of these maybe, and Barrel Dragon, regular Barrel Dragon from Bandit Keith. So it's one of those cards that's just kind of been lost to time in this game, but not a bad card to pick up and at least own one copy of, because again, you never know what happens in the future. But same thing applies to this card as Twin Barrel Dragon. Basically pick it up if you have the gems, or if you don't mind spending the gems, or if you like the character or the card, excuse me. Don't go for it. I mean, if you like it, man, that's all that really matters, really. You don't have to worry about competitiveness in this game or things like that. For example, KC's going on right now. I'm not even bothering to play. I made it automatically into round 2. I thought I would play more, but like, I'm not even bothering. I don't really too much care about it, man. There's no real reason to play KC Cup aside from getting the prismatic stuff. But Swarm of Locusts, a back row removal card, very old card. You can change this card to face down defense position once per turn. And when this card is flip summoned, target one spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy that target. Its effect is good, right? But it kind of wants to be in like statue decks, or decks that have like, I think it's called Labyrinth of Nightmare, the trap card that allows the monsters to just kind of switch positions and stuff like that. It wants to be in a heavy protection type deck, but it's not conducive to Duel Links. It's not really a good card, but again, its effect is good. Backer removal is always welcomed in this game, but this card has like never had an opportunity in this game, so they're just taking it out. It's like, I don't even own a copy because there's no reason to pick it up. There never has been a reason to pick it up. But it can catch people off guard. I do want to say that. If you want to run an insect deck, it can catch people off guard, and it could act as a way to remove back row, you know? There are other cards that kind of do something similar, but this one can continually do it. If you can protect it, it can pop a card every turn. So that's pretty cool, man. Gravity Behemoth. This one actually is one of the newer ones that they're removing. A lot of these ones that they're removing are really, really old. Like, some of this stuff is like base, like first game launching cards. Like, some of these stuff has been here for like almost like 8-9 months, but this isn't one of them. He's been here for like a few months, 3 or 4 months. But again, this is another one of those cards that's never really had a reason to be used. And to read the effect, if it is not the first turn of the duel and there are no cards in the field, you can normal summon this card without tributing. So it can't be the first turn of the duel and there are no cards in the field. So both you guys had to have bricked massively to where you didn't play anything. That's ridiculous. So if you start first, you have to wait till your next turn and hope the opponent doesn't pay anything. So outright, really bad effect. You can destroy all field spell cards on the field. Okay. Nobody really runs field spells, really. This card can attack, or cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. There is literally nothing good about this card. There's literally nothing good about it. So I'm trying to find positives with a lot of these and find scenarios. Like, even beast decks, like, there's no reason. Like, there's no reason. I have no, maybe you guys know something, but there's no reason. Cestus of Dalga, equip only to a fairy type monster. It gains 500 attack. If it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, gain life points equal to the damage inflicted. So it's just, this is like a win more card. No real reason to run this in a lot of decks either, not even traditional fairy decks. Total win more card. Can run this with some of the fairy monsters. I don't know if Mudora is available in the game, but that's a cool combo. This might even be Mudora's weapon, to be honest. I don't know. But anyways, Guardian Angel Joan in this. No real reason to run this card. It's a win more card. Spiritualism, back row removal. Target one spell / trap card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. This card's effect and activation effect cannot be negated. It's cool, I guess. It's cool. It would be so much better if it was a quick play card. Just gonna put that out there. If this was a quick play card, it would be 10 times better, because what they can do is in a lot of cases they can just chain this card. So they can't negate it, like they can't use, like, for example, Magic Jammer, basically is what this card is saying. But if they have a face down enemy controller, they can just kind of chain this card to it. So the enemy controller is not the best example, because assuming you didn't just play the monster that they changed, like I would activate this before I even play a monster, for example. You could just kind of change back if you didn't, but still, point is they can kind of chain it. It would be better if it was quick play, because you can activate it on the opponent's turn, set it down, and then before they end their turn, you could activate this and return the card they just set back to their hand. It would make this card pretty OP, to be honest. That's what makes that Cyclone card really good. It's basically a Mystical Space Typhoon, that other card, the Cyclone card. Polymerization, really good farm card, but you don't need it. If you pick up the Hero Structure deck, you get 2 copies. That's why this is going away. So no real reason to get Polymerization, but I picked up 3, which is kind of unfortunate. I picked up 3 because I like to run fusions back then, but fusions they just will never really be good in this game because of the fact that you have less resources. Fusions will never really be good in this game, and that's kind of unfortunate, but it's just kind of the way things are when it comes to this game and its speed duel format. Fusions are just too slow, and then when you play fusions, you have no cards in your hand, or you have 1 card left, or, you know, they'll be okay. I mean, I don't want to say not good, because, for example, Dark Paladin decks are really, really good, but they'll never be top tier. And again, a lot of people don't really care about that, so that's fine. More power to you. But it just kind of sucks when you go into ranked and you go up against Angels, and it's like, oh, my fusion deck can't really touch that. So, Dragon's Gunfire. It's a burn card, and it's monster destroyal. There's not really much destroyer, excuse me, not destroyal. It's not many cards that 800 defense or less can destroy, but 800 damage to your opponent's cool. Nothing really else to say about that. As far as the SR cards, I wouldn't recommend picking up any of them unless you need a polymerization, but keep in mind you can get one from leveling up Joey. I think it's like level 4 too. It's really early. So none of these cards I really recommend picking up. SR cards, they're just a waste of your time. These are all pretty bad cards, or unnecessary cards. I'd like to say that. Life Harmonizer is pretty cool. When your opponent activates a card effect that inflicts battle damage, you can discard this card and negate its effect and destroy it. So this is one of the cards that they added into the game to kind of combat the fact that burn was such a heavy thing. And burn still is a heavy thing, but it's not as heavy. Like Taya Burn was ridiculous, but it's not really going to find its place into a lot of decks. It's a -1 to save your life points. It's not worth it. Scroll of Bewitchment. I honestly picked up one of these because I don't know if this card and like stuff like DNA Surgery will become good in the future. So, Burning Beast, Freezing Beast, not worth your time. Blackland Fire Dragon, no real reason. I mean, if you really wanted a 1500 attack 4-star monster, pick up the Dragon Structure deck and get your worthless Komori Dragon from there. Amazon is Spellcaster. I would pick that up because I don't know if Amazon's cards will ever become really good in this game. There are some that are pretty solid, but I'd pick up at least 1 copy. 2-pronged attack. You can use that with 10 Kabito. It's a cool little combo, but otherwise really worthless card. Disc Fighter, again, another worthless card. And Energy Absorption Monolith, not worth your time. So basically wanted to go ahead and go over a lot of this. Again, the card trader will continually just add and remove cards. There's a lot in there, plant support and a lot of different things. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, wind up enjoying it, why not consider subscribing for more content here on the channel. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.